Hey, this is Terry, and in this video I want to discuss something that's very important to us, but that may be a little bit difficult to articulate. And we tend to call this listen without prejudice. And simply what it means is, in effect, just listen. Too often we get tied up on technicalities, which type of amplification system is better, which type of digital recording system is better, which type of digital file is better than the other. And very often as not, none of this really matters. Similarly, specifications, we can get tied up with specific specifications that ultimately don't really have any meaning for how a product sounds. Now, that's not to say that measurements aren't important. We use measurements all the time in the development of our products, but the ultimate test is to just listen. And so we want to make sure that when people are encountering our products, that this doesn't get in the way of their enjoying the sound that they produce. Now, there are those that will like tube amplification. There are those that will like transistor amplification, but a specific type, such as Class AB. We happen to have chosen Class D, an amplification system that maybe is newer than others. And as a result, it may not have been as fully developed as it could have been, or as older amplifier technologies have been. And the issue for us with Class D is that we don't choose any of our technologies because of its marketability. We choose it because of the properties that it possesses that we believe will allow us to produce the best sound. And not only the best sound, but again, kind of referring back to these ideas of logom, of balance, of harmony, of not too much, not too little, but allow us to produce products that are compact, that don't produce a lot of heat, that are attractive, a pleasure to operate, so that they can be really included into any listening and living environment. And so Class D, especially as expressed through our latest version of it, UFPD2, our UFPD2 technology, really, we feel, allows us to take full advantage of all the things that Class D can offer. So for example, it's extraordinarily efficient, which means that it produces very little heat, which means we don't have to have large heat sinks in order to dissipate all of that heat. We can make the amp module extraordinarily small as a result as well. And as a part of that efficiency, it also means that the amplification system can deliver instantaneous power. There's no slow building up, it just can release it instantaneously. And because of this lack of heat, this compact size also leads to very short signal paths. And with these short signal paths, we have a less chance of distortion or noise to enter into and possibly deteriorate the signal we want to hear, the music coming out of the amplification. It also means that it just simply uses less power. So while on kind of a level of being more gentle to the environment, we're using less electricity. It also doesn't pollute the environment of the system. We design our power supplies in conjunction with the UFPD modules so that they don't introduce a lot of noise as a result into the electrical environment powering the system. And so for all of these reasons, Class D technology makes the most sense to us. It is the most logom, the most balanced, the most coherent design to meet our needs. And the other thing is that when it comes to specifications, it's really hard to describe or even to kind of test what makes these products sound so good. Again, measurements are really important. They help guide us during the development process, but listening is key. And there are changes that we have made to these internal products through the listening test that you will never be able to measure, and yet are the very things that provide that last bit of magic, that thing that really makes them sound their best. And in certain instances, what we've discovered is that instead of using very expensive name brand internal components, we've actually sought out and found those, what you might call generic resistors, transistors, capacitors, etc., that actually sound better. Now, they may not inherently sound better, they just sound better within the context of our circuit. So it's kind of like a chef creating a meal. They'll choose very specific ingredients that they know will give them the best results. They may be different from another chef. I mean, I remember reading an article the other day where 12 different chefs described how to scramble eggs, and each version was different and resulted in a slightly different flavor. And so it really is a case of taking all of these components, all of these ingredients, if you will, and putting them together in a package that gives you the best possible sound without regard to what type of technology it might be, whether it's a technology that might be preferred or a technology so new that people really haven't heard it at its best yet. And the other thing too is that we can't necessarily pick a meal by the ingredients in which it's made. It really is how it's created. So to look at various specifications as if they were ingredients that would lead us to be able to recognize that one thing is going to sound better than another is entirely misleading. So whether that's power delivery measured by watts or amperage current, whether that's damping factor, whether it is whatever conversion rate for a digital file, PCM, DSD, might be perceived as better, none of that really matters. There are too many things involved in the recording process all the way to the reproduction process that we can never really quite typify, in part because I don't think we fully understand or appreciate this amazing mechanism of hearing that works between our ears, our brain, the environment. None of this can really be quite fully quantified. And in fact, to a certain degree, it just needs to be appreciated. And that's what we mean by listen without prejudice. Just listen. Don't listen with any preconceived notions. And 10 to 1, you'll enjoy the act of listening all that more. For more information on our products, go to primare.net.